Maldivian Tale. In a big city where the air was thick with exhaust fumes, cars rushed along the asphalt roads and the buildings blended into the gray sky, lost in the routine of everyday life, there lived an unusual girl named Jana. She spent her days playing musical instruments, making handmade things, creating stories, writing poetry and songs, dancing. In the evenings, she worked as a singer in a restaurant, filling the air with romance and celebration. But despite her vibrant life in the city, deep in her heart, she had always carried dreams of the distant ocean, of travels, adventures, and of freedom. More than anything, she longed to dive into the underwater world she had read about in books and seen in films. And also, she was in love. She had been with the same man since their youth, believing that one day he would propose, and together they would embark on a romantic trip to the Maldives, where she would finally see the ocean with her own eyes. But the years passed and her dream remained distant, out of reach. Her friends laughed, saying, "Only rich people can afford such things." But Jana refused to believe that her dream was impossible. She lived modestly, worked hard, and saved every bit she could, hiding her money in a small pirate chest, the key to which she always carried with her. But fate played a cruel trick on her. The love she had believed in for so many years crumbled, leaving her heartbroken and alone with a pain too deep to bear. But instead of drowning in sorrow, Jana made a decision. If her romantic dream had turned to dust, why not go on the journey herself? She opened her treasure chest, took out all the money she had saved over the years, and bought a ticket to the world that had been calling her since childhood. Her adventure began on the sandy shores of Egypt, where she plunged into the warm waters of the Red Sea to learn the basics of scuba diving. Every day, she attended lessons, studied theory, and practiced under the guidance of an instructor, mastering the skills needed to safely explore the depths with heavy diving gear. She completed the course, passed her exam, and now a certified diver, set off for her next destination. Her path led her to remote paradise islands lost in the endless Indian Ocean. When she finally arrived, she chose an island known among divers, a small haven where people had lived by the sea since childhood, diving as effortlessly and deeply as mermaids, where the water was their second home, and the underwater world teemed with countless creatures. Here, she spent most of her time in the Maldives, immersing herself in local life and exploring the mysteries of the island and its surrounding waters. Jana could hardly believe her eyes. It all felt unreal, especially when she descended into the azure depths, floating weightlessly among massive schools of fish, encountering sharks, sea turtles, and majestic manta rays. But what amused her most was a particular fish that others often overlooked. Bold and curious, it had no fear of approaching divers, playing in the streams of air bubbles above their heads in a way that looked incredibly amusing. Every day, Jana sought new experiences. She tasted exotic dishes, saw wild dolphins racing through the waves, sped across the open ocean on a speedboat, smiled at the sun, and felt her heart slowly healing. She even learned a song in the language of the local people, who began calling her Johnny, meaning soul in Divehi. The island people adored her, singing along with her, while another experienced travelers from around the world shared their adventures over coffee or while strolling along the shore. Soon, the whole island was talking about the charming visitor who explored the island's hidden life and sang Maldivian songs. As she wandered through the islands, she discovered treasures for her collection of musical instruments. One was a kalimba shaped like a sea turtle with a mysterious underwater-like sound. Another was a set of chimes, metal tubes strung above a wooden boat, their ringing reminiscent of a magical wand carrying a soothing power. And then she met a musician who was working as a seller in local shop. When he heard Jana sing in his native language, he gifted her a small bamboo xylophone, its rhythm echoing the heartbeat of the islands. But her heart longed for something truly special, a professional instrument she could play any song on. On the last day of her journey, just as the sun was sinking beyond the horizon, she finally found it. A ukulele. Light, cheerful, its sound carrying the carefree joy of island life. She spent her last savings on it and pressed it to her heart, knowing that as long as she had this instrument, she could always return, at least in spirit, to the place where she had found herself. When she returned home, she no longer felt pain. Her heart no longer belonged to a person, but to the endless blue expanse. And when she picked up her ukulele and began to play, her voice carried a new depth, one she had never known before, and her songs, strummed to the simple, rhythmic beat of the instrument, lifted her soul once more to the place where she had found the freedom to be herself.